What is up YouTube, Jonny B here again today, and we're going to be working on the GR86 today. We did the brakes install last video, and in this video, since the car is still up on the lift, we're going to go ahead and do suspension next. I have a set of GYVUS V3s that I have on this car, and you see it has the pinks, but I have the V3s in the front. One of them is blown, so I have to send that one to get redone. The seal's messed up, so it leaked out a lot of the fluid. You know, they're rebuildable, so it's not that bad. I've done it before. I think last time was like 150 bucks to rebuild it, and they're like 2K coilovers, so it's not bad. So I've been debating whether to bag it or just put some coilovers on it. I do have another set of coilovers that are the Bilstein B16s or B14, something like that. They're German, they're adjustable, and they're like chrome and blue. They almost look like the GYVUS because the shock body itself is also chrome. I think they're like $1,500. I've had them for a little while. They were actually on a buddy of mine's car that never got driven, so they're practically new. Like, they're just a little bit dirty. He blew the engine once, got the engine built. Car sat for years, so the suspension I think is still really good. I kind of like the idea of going with Bilsteins, if that's how you pronounce it, just because they're like an OEM manufacturer, so they're gonna have really high quality parts. There's not a lot of coilovers for this car out yet. If I did end up buying some, I think I'd probably go with something that's two-way with external reservoirs, but the lead time on stuff like that is crazy, and we have a track day coming up soon, so I figured we'd do this and then later on we can upgrade to the new ones. But I think this will be good enough to be able to track it, be able to lower the car, make it look really good, and see if we can fit some nice wheels underneath it. So let's get started. So here we have the Bilstein coilovers. These are the fronts, and one cool thing about them is that these are actually inverted, so they're not skinny like, for example, the rears. You see how they're like really thin? The fronts are like super thick because the shock body is like inverted, so the skinny part is inside here and the thick part is out here. And what this does is if we end up jumping the car or something, those can hold up a lot better than just the little rods, so they won't bend. That's really cool that this comes with that. And they have some Nürburgring technology apparently, so I think that's gonna be interesting. So hopefully this will help improve the handling. Mainly what I want is to be able to lower it. I kind of wanted to drive it on the stock suspension for the first track day, but it has to look good, and I think this is going to achieve that. They even come with like their nice little covers, to the little dust boots. So let's go ahead and get these on the GR. So while we're doing the coilover installed on that one, I figured I might as well swap the arms. Like, I might as well put all my Voodoo 13 stuff on there. I have the lower control arm, the tow rod, and the trailing arm, so the tow arm. And I have all three of those. They're super expensive. I already have them, might as well swap them over. I'll just buy some for this car later. I believe I have an extra set of tow arms. I would just have to get another set of trailing and lowers. I'll probably leave the uppers because those uppers are mainly designed for like high horsepower application, so we can get a little bit more grip. We don't really need that, so I think I'll leave the uppers on this car and I'll just keep the stocks on that one, because I just want all the adjustability, so that way we can make sure we can fit whatever wheel we need to fit into that thing. So it's also looking at the sway bar. I really don't need to upgrade the sway bar just yet. I think I'd rather throw some Eibach ones on that one, so that'll be red and they'll be matching with that, just to not have to remove the one off of this car and just keep that with this car. This car is going to be white, so I think it's going to look good on it. And I'll run that one on the track with the stock ones just to see how it handles. right, so now that we have the suspension on, I got the front on as well. I want to go ahead and test fit my TEs so we can see what they look like on there. And that way we can lower the car, see how low it is. If it's too low, we might have to raise it. If it's too high, then we got to lower it a little bit. So let's get the wheels on and then we'll lower the quick jacks so we can see where it sits. There it is. It's not fully settled, but I think that's a good ride height. I think that's gonna look really, really good. Get the rear. Oh yeah, that looks good. The trailing arms really help center the wheel. I like the height. Only issues, I think, in the rear, this side has a little bit more camber. See how the top of the wheel just disappears with the quarter panel. And then on this side, we can see a little bit. It's not much. It does look like, yeah, it's not much camber. It's just the way my suspension was set up. I guess that control arm is extended out a little bit more than this one. In regards to the front fitment is actually really good as well. It's nice and flush. I did roll my fenders a little bit, but it looks like I didn't even need to. There's just so much space, but it does look good. And the rear, I did shave them. So as you can see, my hand is like right here. Same thing with this piece. Shaved it a little bit on the inside just to make sure that I would get the proper fitment. It's basically just that inner lip likes to rub. So I just removed it. You can see these tires had that same issue where the inner lip was rubbing on them. And this was on an FRS or an 86. I guess I hadn't shaved that, so we can get a little bit better fitment that way. But that's looking good. I like the look. The mag blue with the red brakes, black car, really pops. Oh, it looks so good. And one thing you guys didn't see me install for the suspension was the top hats. I had to take them off my airbags and I had to kind of like mess around with fitment on this. Those top hats, the ground control top hats, come with a little piece that goes on the bottom of it, which is basically like a spring perch. So it's kind of small because it's designed to hook up to the V3s. So if you look at the V3s, they're very skinny, right? In comparison. But the Bilsteins were basically OEM fitment, so I just had to take the bottom cup off of the bottom of the strip. There's like a little cup here that holds onto the spring. So I just took that OEM piece off. I took that off, swapped it pretty much, and I was able to make these coilovers work with these top hats. So these top hats have a lot of camber adjustment. I believe I have them a little bit cambered. So this is the center line, but I think this is if I center the middle of this, that's no camber. So I do have slight camber, but I'm not fully maxed out all the way. And that gives it, you know, that look. I think if you're looking at it from the top, it's like this. So slight degree of camber. Obviously I need to get an alignment done, but I want to set it up to where it's very close to where I want it. So the suspension is on. I got my ground control top hats so we can adjust camber. You guys saw the fitment. I got the car back up. Adjust the camber in the rear a little bit of the toe. Just basically eyeing it. I want to make sure it's drivable before I take it to the alignment shop. And yeah, suspension's on. The height looks great. I'm so happy I didn't have to adjust it because it can be quite a pain having to adjust the coilovers till you get them to like the right height that you want. You know, get them set exactly how you want them. And you know, maybe after I drive it a little bit, it might go a little bit lower. So we'll see. It wasn't too high, but also it wasn't too low. I kind of want to be able to drive it still. If I'm gonna be going on track, hitting apexes, I want to make sure that it's not gonna rip my fender apart or, you know, damage it. So now I guess that's gonna be it for the video. In the next video, we're gonna be putting an exhaust on it. I have, you know, like I said, 3 exhausts to install onto it, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with something special. So see you guys in the next video, and as always, you have a great day.